I have several doors throughout the home that need a coat of paint, and there's several ways of doing this. And ideally, it'd be nice if I had one of those door stands where you could take the door off the hinges, stand it up, and then paint it. However, I have difficulty taping these hinges, and a lot of times the hinge will bunch up the tape. So I'm thinking about removing the top hinge, paint this section, put the hinge back, and then repeat the process. So we'll try that. This door is not installed yet because the walls in there are gray. So I'm going to paint it here first, then do the installation. These doors will be painted the same shade as the walls. That's a huge help. I have 10 doors to do, so I'll remove the top hinge from all of them and paint that section and then repeat. So it's nice to get a little cart to travel from door to door, and then we all get these in our junk mail, and I'm using that in between here. When I spray the upper half, it'll protect that hinge. I'll be using the Graco Magnum 7X airless sprayer, and I'm going to go full pressure on the spray tip. We'll see how that does. For the paint, I'm using the same product I used for the interior walls of the entire home. PPG flat white pastel 47110. Definitely need one of these. It's specifically designed for paint. It's 3M. You cannot even smell the fumes in use. It has charcoal in here, filter here, and then of course some eye protection. I don't have any special technique to share. I'm relatively new to the paint sprayer and spraying doors. I usually roll them and use a brush, but that's a nightmare. So let's see if this turns into a different style nightmare. Here's a shot down the hall. I've got a closet here, here, bathroom door, bedroom door, closet door, this door, and this is the door where that one standing in that room is going.
So that's the downside to a sprayer.
No.
Here I've got the second hinge removed. Already did the top. So what I did was a light coat for the first coat. You can still see some bleed through. What I'll do, I'll let all this dry and then just a light touch up where needed before I move on to the second hinge. Another thing, you see me come down here to the hinge, and the second one, I run the whole way down. You just hold that sprayer at an angle, and the closer you are, the more narrow the spray, although you gotta watch that because the paint gets thick. You gotta move fast. But it's nothing to be intimidated. I would rather use that sprayer all the time and never pick up a brush or a roller again. Thank you. Here's one that's got a little bit heavier coat on it, and it's in the sunlight. Very little bit of bleeding through here. Looks good. Uh-oh. I already see overspray. Let's get a close up. A white powdered overspray on that. This one's got it on both sides. Hey, that cleaned right off. So all it is a white powder dust. So I'm good. So I'm ready to install the top hinge. Take notice when you remove the hinge, if it has any writing. All mine had the writing out this direction, so I know I'm in the same direction. And all the hinges should be the exact same size. So I'm going to mount to the door first, because I think it'd be easier to lift the door into place. Here's the critical part. Do not over tighten. Just snug. And then you can take a regular screwdriver and snug it up to know how tight that is. Now I'm going to push the door over and start the screws. You could put a clamp on there, but it would probably mark up your door. So what you want to do is have that all the way back in its groove as you tighten it. Don't just tighten it up. And that little indent will kind of pull the screw in center where it needs to go, but keep pressure on it to help it get there. there is a chance the door will swell just a little bit, being damp from the paint. However, this one worked out good, and we're ready to remove the center hinge. If you're using a tip with a magnet, it assists not allowing the screw to drop on the floor. Very nice. Using a coffee container for all the parts, and I'm not keeping track what hinge went where. Got the screws in there. They should be all exactly the same. I've just finished the second stage of painting, and I'm reinstalling the hinge. And I'll show you a technique if you're having trouble with screws stripping out. If it's minor and it just needs to be snugged up a bit, get yourself some toothpicks. Snap the tapered end off so it's thicker. Install in the hole and then snap it off flush. Like that. And if you need more, add more. Zip ties work good. Push in there. Snip. Pull it out a little bit and then snip. You want it flush. And if it's real bad, electrical wire works beautiful. And then bring your hinge around and put them screws in. These were not stripped out, but I'm just going to leave all that in there and see how it goes. So, I've got to line this up with the hole. That's perfect. I didn't tighten it up because I want the hinge to move on its own. Needs to go out a little bit. Also, if you have a torque setting on your drill, go to the lowest setting and you won't over tighten. Nice feature. Now I'm ready to remove the bottom hinge, do some more painting. I'll do that off camera and then skip to the final result. Thank you. So here's the final product. I've got a few handles installed, and I'd like to point out a few things as we go and suggest some painting options. Right here's that hinge that had the overspray. However, a lot of hinges received overspray, but then I realized when I did the second stage of the painting, I'm removing these hinges, 10 doors, 10 hinges. So I went to the sink, light scrubbing, it came right off, applied some lubrication so they won't rust or corrode. Now that I'm finished, I'm thinking, how can I simplify this process? And I thought maybe you could support the bottom of the door, remove this hinge and that hinge, paint from here down. There wouldn't be any swing, but I don't think that would matter. And then reinstall these hinges and then do the top separately. A little bit of overspray right there. I get carried away when I'm behind that sprayer. I did not use a sheen on the paint because I didn't want it to end up on the walls and have an uneven look. So my option now is to put a clear coat on the doors. That way you'll be able to wipe down the door cleaning. As you've seen, I used the same paint on the walls as I did the doors, which simplified it. However, if you have colored walls, you could find a place in your home and freestand these doors. And then you can have sheen, and there's no tools involved. The door supports itself, and you can walk around the entire unit, do all the painting, then install. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hope this has helped someone. In the next video, I'll show how to replace this thermostat that operates electric baseboard heat. I'll provide a link